We do know that Leanna is staying at the house behind me. Her mom, Deborah, lives in a garage apartment in a house owned by a doctor and his wife. And the doctor actually walked out last night. I think you're seeing some video of him right now. And he confirmed that Leanna is actually at the house. Those two cars that you guys see in the video that are also over my shoulder are Leanna's car and her mom, Deborah. We believe the silver Camry actually belongs to Leanna. She arrived here late yesterday afternoon. And Robin, I talked to some of the neighbors around here, and they're all saying the same thing that we've been hearing for the last couple of days, which is when they saw Leanna and Ross and their little son together, they seemed like a great family and a really happy family. And they're all just so surprised by what's taken place with their little boy.
So this is where the Harrises grew up, and they lived there before they moved to Georgia. What are the people who knew them back then saying, especially after all the shocking allegations against the dad in court about, you know, a separate life basically online?
So yesterday we went to Leanna and Ross's old home, which is in a suburb of Tuscaloosa. And I spoke to a guy named Abraham Burton. They actually lived next door to Ross and Leanna for 5 years. They would barbecue together and all of that sort of thing. And Abraham actually told me that Ross made him feel guilty about his own efforts as being a father, because Ross played with Abraham's kids so often that he actually made him feel guilty. But he also said the details that emerged in the trial last week, in the hearing last week, made him question the guy that he thought he knew for 5 years, and that his opinion had changed since the details had first emerged as to what happened to little Cooper. There's one other thing that we talked about, which I thought was really interesting, which was about the insurance policy. I asked Abraham if he had an insurance policy on his children, and he actually said he did. And the reason why is they live paycheck to paycheck. And if something had happened to him or his children, he wanted to make sure that the family was taken care of, Robin.
Taken care of, do we mean in terms of like a burial or something horrible like that if somebody had passed away?
I think we all... Exactly. I think we all know that when something happens to someone in the family, there are a lot of costs that we can't necessarily handle, especially if you live paycheck to paycheck. And Abraham was telling me, hey, this is why we have an insurance policy on our 3 children, is because we need to be able to take care of things if a tragedy like that does happen. So he didn't think that was anything suspicious, even though a lot of people have been talking about why is it that someone would have an insurance policy on their own children.
Yeah, and on that same type of talk here, a lot of people will say, well, just because you are online sexting does not mean that you are intentionally trying to murder your child. So obviously police must feel like they have other evidence here as they work to see how hot the car got and look for other evidence. Yasmin, thank you.